Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So normally I would be talking about Bitcoin, but tonight I think I have to talk about Terra Luna, UST, and how it's affecting the entire crypto space, including Bitcoin. And then as I'm streaming right now, Luna has fallen back. Excuse me. $13, $13.60 as I'm looking at the ticker right now. What the hell is happening here? And is help coming to save Kwon and Terra and Luna and UST? Let's discuss. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. This is my fourth one of today. Fourth one, not including the two on the Clips channel. That is 6. So endless content for you guys. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on social media, CryptosRUs.com, and the brand new Clips channel, which you should really subscribe to. Welcome, guys. Whew. Well, Bitcoin has come down from this morning. Still higher than our 29,000 low, yes. But Bitcoin and crypto just has not been moving today at all. Today was actually supposed to be a pretty good recovery day. This morning when I streamed, we had a little bit of good movement. I mean, Bitcoin was above 32,000. Even Terra was around 30 or, $40, right? And since then, we have seen Terra go down in half, okay? Oh, man, today is such a day. I did stream about earlier, or I didn't stream, but I put out a video about Biden was hoping that something good would come out of this, but Biden said nothing, okay? Absolutely nothing. He just did the blame game, blamed the Republicans, blamed the Russians, blamed China, blamed everyone else other than the Fed, and he applauded Fed Chair Powell for his efforts at trying to curb inflation. But he said absolutely nothing. I have no idea why he even had a press conference. There was nothing productive or positive said in that press conference. So I was hoping for something, but nothing. Okay, but tomorrow we do have CPI numbers. So maybe that will be a catalyst to drive us higher, right? To give us some momentum, to move past what we're going through right now, right? So there was that. Coinbase reported absolutely dismal reporting, dismal earnings for Q1. Revenue drops 27% from a year ago, and their stock got hammered today and more so in the aftermarket. Okay, so bottom line is it's not looking good for stock market right now, U.S. markets, and not looking good for Bitcoin companies as well, like Coinbase. They probably regret going public at this point. All right. So with that said, let's talk about Terra and how it's still affecting the market. And then afterwards, let me share some good news about Bitcoin. So first of all, I know unless you've been living under a rock, you have been paying attention to what has been happening with Terra. It has gone down 80+% from just 4 days ago. Okay, and now it's sitting at number 20 at 6.2 billion, which, relatively speaking, it's still near Polygon and it's still considered one of the bigger caps out there. But let's not forget that it was at $90 just 4 days ago, and $60 3 days ago, and $40 2 days ago, and now it's sitting at $13, okay? So I think most of you guys know what's been happening. The UST, the stable coin from Terra, is losing its peg. And as I'm streaming right now, 80 cents, okay? 78 cents. That shouldn't be. That should be at $1, right? $1. So what's been happening? Well, I think it's obvious that whatever reserve that Terra had, okay, they have about $3 billion of the Bitcoin, and they had like 500 million in other things. Unfortunately, the reserve came in too late to save the peg. So this is something that people didn't know about. I didn't even know about. That this peg was supposed to be backed by the reserves, but it wasn't automatic. They were actually still working on a system to automatically sell off to keep the peg at $1. Unfortunately, they were still working at that automated system. And Do Kwon, unfortunately, gave clue about this even a day ago when he mentioned about selling off some Bitcoin to preserve the peg, right? Which I think gave, you know, the bad actors an idea, or maybe they caught on that this wasn't automatic, right? So unfortunately, that has happened, okay? So Terra basically sold off all the reserves by now. They have no more Bitcoin, no more USDC, USDT. They have no more of Luna that is pegged or in reserve to peg the dollar status with UST, which is why it is at 70-something cents right now, right? So they're desperate for money right now. They need more money because there are just too much. There's billions upon billions at stake here with UST, and they just don't have enough money to bring it back at this point. There's just too many people that are just too fearful at this point. So if you look at Anchor and you look at the total deposits, it has fallen 43% within a single day. And if you go back a couple of days, it's more like 60%. So 60% of the people have pulled their UST out of Anchor. And what do you think they did with that? They panic sold. And this is on top of all the bad actors that has been selling, right? So it's just like they're trying to play catch up, and they just can't because there's too much fear out there, and everyone is talking about it. Literally everyone is talking about what's going on. Even Janet Yellen mentioned about UST and its destabilization today, and she used UST as an example of why we need more regulations to regulate the crypto industry, specifically the stablecoin industry, right? So, I mean, she caught on this really, really fast. Really fast, right? But yeah, everyone is talking about it, okay? And this shows you the depeg. So yesterday, you know, it dropped down, UST dropped down about 80 cents. I think it even went lower, like 69 cents. And right now it's around 80 cents. This morning when I was streaming, it was about 93 cents. It wasn't quite at $1, but it started escalating again because some of these bad actors are still trying to bring everything down, okay? Now, who are these bad actors, you may be wondering? Well, there's a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, and there's a lot of connecting the dots. And it could be a combination. It could be none of these people. But if you connect the dots, you'll see that there is a coordinated attack right now. First of all, many people have seen this, where you have endless spam accounts or bots that's posting the same damn thing everywhere. Okay, here's a clear example of that. So hopefully, once Elon takes over Twitter, he'll get rid of spots. But it's obvious that there are people that want to drive as much FUD as possible right now. Okay, that is for certain. But who's behind this, right? Well, one person thinks that, well, maybe it's not one person, maybe a few people, but this person pointed out that it's Citadel. Citadel is behind this because there was actually a connection between Terra and Genesis Trading. And the owner of Genesis Trading happens to be the owner of Citadel, right? And Do Kwon was set. Man, Chris, big super chat. I appreciate that, Chris. I do. And thanks. I will go get another bottle on you. But, you know, Do Kwon was trying to buy another $1 billion worth of Bitcoin to put into reserve with UST, right? But it seems like maybe that gave Citadel an idea. Why help this guy when you can utilize that UST to crash the market, right? So some speculation that Citadel is behind this. And of course, one of their companies was behind the shorting of AMC and GME, which was made famous last year, right? So people wouldn't put it past Citadel to do something like this. Maybe, because they have $1 billion of the UST that they could use. Someone else that came up is Justin Sun of Tron. Just 2 days ago, you see Justin Tron saying, I'm buying UST. Why? Do Kwon wants to know, right? And he's like, I have a secret plan. This was 2 days ago. And Justin Sun, unfortunately, because he's the founder of Tron, he has a ton of money. So he could be buying tons and billions of UST and maybe using that to destabilize UST to, guess what, promote his own stablecoin, USDD, which happens to have just turned up recently with attractive APY as well. The timing of it is very particular, especially with this tweet that came out 2 days ago, right? So, is it Justin? Is it Citadel? Is it Shifu? Is it whoever, right? There's a lot of people that, I don't know, could be behind it. We just don't know, right? We don't know who's behind it, but we do know that it is still ongoing. There's endless thought about it, and basically the credibility of Do and Terra has been just absolutely shattered to pieces, okay? And because of this, I do think there's another cloud over crypto right now, unfortunately, right? On a day when it seemed like, you know, we're coming off our bottom, we're getting some momentum, and then this continues onwards, and this is the only thing people are talking about right now, right? But what this does show that as a young leader like Do Kwon, and you could tell he's a young guy, right? Seemed like he tried something and it was very successful, but he was getting to a point where he was a little arrogant and cocky, right? And some people have pinpointed this, and especially on Twitter, he would poke fun and jabs at people. At times, he would have a nonchalant kind of answer to things, right? And now it's definitely, after this, it's definitely a humbling experience. Now, looking at his Twitter right now, the last thing that he posted 3 hours ago was getting close, stay strong, lunatics. That's it. Nothing else. 10 hours ago, he says there's a huge plan. Didn't mean to be so quiet, need razor focus to deliver, right? But, example of that nonchalantness was yesterday. Deploy more capital, steady lads, right? Seems like, don't worry. I got this covered. But obviously that didn't work, right? So this is a clear example of that, like a young guy that seemed to have it all and then kind of just swayed away from being a humble leader to an arrogant leader. And even Charles is pushing back because at one point in time, Do also shot across the board and made this tweet about, hey, we may buy ADA for negative correlation because at the time, ADA wasn't doing so well. So he was basically saying, buy ADA, and then it'll drive everything else up. And Charles shot back today, right? Again, kind of humbling moment, right? Humbling moment. But anyways, so where does this help? What is the latest, right? What is Do working on right now? Well, the clearest not the clearest, but the one that has the most traction right now is this. Okay, from this guy that is behind the block. He's a VP of research, and this is what he thinks is happening, although it's not final. And if Terra continues to go down more and more and more, I could see how some of these companies no longer want to commit anymore because there will be nothing left. But supposedly, Terra is trying to raise another 1 to 1.5 billion. They're going to sell Luna to the companies that are interested with a 1-year lock right? And they're basically buying Luna at 50% off. So at this point, with Luna being at $13, they're basically buying for like $6.50, which if Luna comes back, these companies will make a ton. But some of the names, Celsius we know of, Alameda, maybe not. Jump and Jane Street, I don't know who they are, right? But this is the latest, right? So if Doe does get this cash injection, about 1.5 billion, let's say, is this going to be enough to bring the peg back up? I would like to think so. I don't know, because the peg seems to be off so much at 80 cents. Is another 1.5 billion enough to drive it back to $1? And if so, how is he going to guarantee that this won't happen anymore, right? Because you could still have Citadel or someone like Justin. They have endless money that they could keep doing this. So what else is he going to do to basically stop this from happening after you get the peg going? And maybe Binance is going to stop withdrawals again. Maybe that's going to help. That helped yesterday too, right? So this is the latest. Bottom line to conclude, okay, because I said a lot there. I do think there's some very bad actors that's doing this on purpose, trying to bring down Terra because maybe they're jealous. Maybe they don't like Do Kwon being all showboaty and arrogant and cocky, maybe. Or maybe they just want to do it because they know they can, right? I don't know if Terra can come back from this. I've said since yesterday to today, I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they solve the depegging. And I hope they have a new structure in place where even though they have algorithmic stablecoin, something like this could never happen again. And I hope they could recover somewhat. I don't think my expectation is they will recover back up to their previous high right away like before. But they still have one of the most robust DeFi ecosystems out there. And even with their TVL dropping, they're still at number 3 on DeFi Llama, which shows you how big they were before. So I'm still rooting. I have not sold any of my Luna. It's been painful, okay? It's been painful to hold. But I saw it go down from its high of 120 maybe a few months ago, down to 90 4 days ago, down to 60 2 days ago, down to 30 or 40 this morning, down to $13 right now, okay? I have lost a house, basically. Probably more than a house on Luna. But it's unrealized loss until I actually sell, right? And I think a lot of you guys are in the same boat. Some of you guys may have jumped off ship, and it could have been a good idea when, you know, Luna was at $40 or $50 or even $30 if you look at it that way. But I have hope, and I'm still waiting to see what Doe says, right? We'll see. He's a smart guy. He came out with this. Maybe he could find a way to dig himself out of this hole. So I'm waiting for this, and I'm waiting to see what happens. At this point, I see very little reason to be selling because it has gone down nearly 90% at this point. So that's my stance. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on, what the latest with this is as it develops. Now, with that said, I said a lot about Terra. And you might be thinking, well, I don't care about Terra. What about Bitcoin? Well, there's no doubt that this is another layer cloud of uncertainty on top of what we're seeing right now, right? Not only Terra, UST, but also with Bitcoin, because there has been obviously a big sell-off of Bitcoin yesterday. We're starting to recover a little bit, but this is, of course, making people a little bit uneasy once again. But the good news about this is, and I've been saying this for quite some time, that Bitcoin holders, they don't really care. Bitcoin holders, they will continue to hold and DCA. And even the whales, that maybe some of them are behind this, they don't care either because they're buying cheap Bitcoin at this point. So this shows you, this is Bitfinex BTC longs. And you can see how that has shot up to the moon because many whales do feel like this is a very low point for Bitcoin. And they're stacking up their longs because they do believe that Bitcoin is ready to pop. So this is a clear short-term example of how the whales are thinking that there's a big movement right around the corner. Also, just average holders, the number of addresses holding at least 0.01 coins. Okay, very little. Retail investors, you can see that number just crossed 10 million for the first time in history. So the number of holders continue to grow, continue to hodl, right? What about the large whales? Ones that have over 100 Bitcoins. Well, even that is going up, right? Kind of like the Bitfinex whales. Even the large whales is starting to buy a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, right? And finally, when in doubt, zoom out. So this is a logarithmic chart for Bitcoin, going all the way back to 2009 to where it is now. And you could see that there has been a few moments where Bitcoin broke through. And I remember this because back in 2020, when Bitcoin broke through and dropped to 3,800, I remember every bear coming out saying Bitcoin is done. Because you could see right here in 2020, you could see that little dip over there. Because this has really never happened before. That Bitcoin can't possibly go below because it's just, this chart can't be wrong, right? Guess what? Bitcoin did dip. And guess what? Bitcoin came right back up above it. So right now, we're a little bit below this. But again, doesn't mean anything. And the main thing to remember is when in doubt, zoom out and you realize that Bitcoin is doing just fine and will continue to move forward. There you go. There you go. All right. That is it. That is it. You know what? Getting a little George pump right here. So that's good. So let's do some Q&A. Magno, I just read your chat. That was actually quite hilarious, but it has been banned. I'm sorry. I was on a roll. So if you super chatted me anything that's important, I missed it. Just restate it because I didn't pay attention. JP Not Morgan says, I hope Luna goes to $1 so I can buy it all up. Well, that's one strategy. Zoom out next shirt. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Jeff Hammer, always appreciate your support, man. Why do you not like Safe Haven? Because I can't trust them to be a custodian because they're just too new. Like if I'm going to die and pass away my crypto to my kids or my wife or whoever, I need a custodian that I could trust, that I know will be around and won't screw up. And I can't, for Safe Haven, I can't trust them like that. They're just too new. Rich says, if Coinbase goes belly up, will the coins on Coinbase be gone? Yeah, but they'll never go go belly up. Never. Superman. Keep up the hodl spirit, George. Have 16 USD at me. Well, if you're the real Superman, hey, thank you. I know you've been in this space for quite some time. So thanks. Is there a possibility that this method could be done on any other stablecoin or any other coin? Yes. So that's the one thing that I think doesn't make sense if Justin is behind it, right? Because if Justin is doing this to crash UST, but he has very same algorithmic stablecoin USDD, that would prove that that's a flawed model and it could be attacked too, right? So that's the one thing I've been thinking about, and I don't think it's Justin because of that, but who knows? He has done crazier things before. But yeah, this means that all algorithmic stable coins that's not automatically, doesn't have this automatic feature where it'll sell off reserves to keep the peg. If it's not in place and they don't have enough liquidity in terms of their reserves, then they can fall to something like this too. Cut your losses if it goes to 8. oof. If I held to 13, yesterday I was on my way to dinner. I was complaining to my wife. I'm like, man, this Luna, even she heard of it. I'm like, it was at $40. It fell to like $30 or something at the time, and I'm like, or $20 at a time. I'm like, man, this can't possibly go lower, right? And then today we see it go down to like $13. I mean, like, it just has been absolute brutal. All right, so now it's a little bit higher, back to 15, but you could see it did fall. And every time it falls, it seems like it's liquidating a lot of UST longs on purpose, I think. Because it just seems like it just every time you get some momentum and then boom, it goes down drastically. It just seems like there's whales that's purposely trying to wipe out all longs. But I'm still clinging on hope. If they solve this peg issue, there's a slight chance that Luna can just pump up or crazily because of how oversold they are. May not happen because of the loss of trust, but we'll see. The good thing is Bitcoin is pumping up a little bit, so the George effect is on. Aaron McDonald, welcome. Welcome to the channel. Elrond, a safe project, safe, scarce, not in beta, plenty of validated sharding. It's ETH 2.0, except it doesn't have a lot of TVL. Its DeFi ecosystem is almost non-existent. So I would say that's the only thing that's holding it back. What's your best DeFi play right now? Well, it was Anchor. I don't know what it is anymore. It used to be Anchor DeFi Kingdoms, and DeFi Kingdoms kind of went through the same thing, and then not kind of same thing, but they went through this whole kind of like bank run kind of thing. Now Anchor, I don't know anymore. I have my stuff spread around a lot, but I put a lot of money into UST, and I still have a lot that's in there, but I don't know. I have to get back to you on that. Luke says, my only regret is running out of cash at DCA. The dip just keeps coming. There's so many deals. Need to do more OT. Can Terra not just lock up UST price temporarily? No, they can't. It's out of their control. UST is around all the exchanges around out there, and in most of the dexes out there. They can't control if people are panic dumping it right now. So, but to your first point, yeah, I think having cash is very important. I've said that. I think my strategy will be always to have 25, 30, 35% in cash at all times, down or up. So I think it'll help in the future, and I'll cover this more. So when we get back up, we make new highs, it'll help get people to take profits. And on the way down, you just have to make sure you have it so that you can DCA and buy the dips. Otherwise, you just kind of have to sit. And holding's okay, but it's more fun and more motivating when you can bring your cost average down and buy the dips, right? Jason, love your positivity. Look forward to having a drink with you at GeorgeCon. Will you make it accessible for regular folks, non-NFT holders, like Bitcoins? You spell that. Jason, I mean, it's still work in progress. But the plan is to have tickets available to NFT holders, but also Patreon members and also George Coin holders. So I'm trying to make it spread out across maybe even YouTube members. But, I still have to determine that. But I'll make it fair for everyone, especially the ones that's been supporting me for quite a long time. Pro007, another member, welcome. You got to think about regulation. They're going to use this example to come for stablecoins. Well, you have that right because Janet Yellen already is talking about it. I don't know how she picked it up so fast, but she did. So she mentions about UST and destabilization and how this is a clear example why we need more appropriate, framework in place to regulate things. So yeah, it's going to happen. When do you think we'll hear something definitive from Do Kwon? I'm pretty sure he says wait because he's trying to solidify this. And at this point, he's probably trying to raise even more. He's probably trying to raise like 3 or 5 billion at this point. But, you know, if you're like Celsius or Alameda, you got to think, well, we could give you the money, but if this doesn't work and you go under, we basically lose out on everything that we gave you, right? So I think that's why it's taking so long, because he is negotiating with some large players for a ton of money, and I think they're just not that willing to give it at this point. If Terra was actually still holding fine at like $40 or $50, I think they would have no problem. The fact that it's at $14, $15 is what gives them worry that it can't sustain, right? I hope we hear something within a few hours. If not, hopefully by tomorrow. If we still don't hear something by tomorrow, that's not good. Are you excited about Constellation Mainnet? To be honest, Rich, I have not paid attention to the big things that's coming with Mainnet 2.0 for Constellation. I mean, even 1.0 was good. I don't know how they're going to make it better for 2.0, but we'll see. If Terra goes to $1, will you take your money out and put in another stable coin? No. I would actually buy more Luna at that point, because if it can get back to $1, I think once it stabilizes, Luna will come back. I still cling on that hope. I can't say that for sure it'll get back to its previous highs, but I think it's going to have a massive rally because there are a lot of people that still believe in Luna and Do. So if it can stabilize its peg, I'll probably buy more. In fact, I'll probably buy more even at this level, because it's just like, it's just so cheap. Don't look back in history saying, wish Bitcoin is 30K. Today is that day, folks. Red Eye, that's well said. You know, people tend to wait for confirmation before buying, right? So people would love to buy Bitcoin at 30K once it's 35K or once it's 40K, once there's confirmation that we're heading up. But no one wants to buy when we're going from 40K down to 30K, because they always think that a lower low is coming, right? But honestly, no one knows where low is, right? You just have to DCA, buy the dips, and have patience, and do this for a long stretch, years. Jason, new member, thank you, welcome. Well, you're a regular member already. Samurai, new member, welcome. What do you think about Insure? The ability to insure from stablecoin DPEG. Here's a clear example, okay? If you're using Insure, and let's say there was $1 billion worth of people that wants to get that insurance or claim that insurance because they're stablecoin DPEG, do you think Insure has $1 billion to cover? The answer is no. This is why I don't trust insurance crypto companies, because there's no way in hell that they have enough to cover what they're claiming they could cover, right? So the answer is no. Citadel borrowed 100K BTC, trades 25 for UST, dumps 75K BTC aggressively, then dumped UST to make a loose peg, shorting all the way. Look it up. I mean, yes, I kind of covered it, not to that detail, but Citadel seems to be connected in some way. You know, this is tricky for them. You know, if this is proven, right, and usually things can be proven through the blockchain, through transactions. If this is proven, SECs go after them hard. They already kind of got in trouble with the AMC GME thing, right? And they're caught with their pants down where this can be proven and they're behind this. Well, they better watch out. Gary Gensler may be knocking on their door soon. Yeah, I would say for tomorrow, I would love to see Bitcoin back above 31.6. You know, we tried to hold above, couldn't. We're pretty close to it already, but if we could hold above, that would be pretty positive. And then the next step is to try to break about 35,000, right? But unfortunately, you know, we got a little held back today by this whole Terra thing that's still ongoing. Let's hope we could hear something tomorrow. But the big catalyst tomorrow will be CPI number, right? CPI number is coming out tomorrow. So that could be a huge catalyst because if inflation actually comes down, which is expected to, that's good all around. That means we peaked at 8.6% and we're actually coming down from there. And that would be fantastic. But we'll see. Right now, the markets for tomorrow are in green, so it looks pretty good. Well, Gary gets to save Luna. I don't think he's gonna save Luna, but who knows? Who knows? All right, guys. I had a few drinks before this stream, but you know, just a little bit. I try not to drink too much at nights anymore. Not very healthy. All right. Well, I think that's it. Overall, you know, stay strong, my friends. A lot of, in terms of Bitcoin, still very healthy. A lot of whales started picking up recently. Long-term holders are not selling. So Bitcoin is still in a good position. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And when in doubt, zoom out. And as for this whole Terra UST, you know, saga, still ongoing. I'll keep you guys apprised of new updates. But for now, we don't know what's next. Will they survive? Will help come? Let's hope so. All right. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Have a good one, guys. $15 Terra sounds like a fantastic buy. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Gala, I'm going to have to get back to you on some DeFi plays now that the two that I relied on is like not an option anymore. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.